Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews with connections in mind, and welcome back to another series of You've Seen It Before reactions. This time around, reacting to each and every episode of Star Trek Picard on CBS All Access. If you've never seen one of my reaction videos before, this is just a short form video series where I'm just going to give my brief thoughts on each episode as they come out, and some brief little analysis as to what worked in the episode, what I thought didn't work in the episode, and maybe some at the end some analysis as to things that might seem familiar and where you may have seen them before. With all that being said, I'll just get this out of the way. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you've not seen the first Season 1, Episode 1, Remembrance of Star Trek Picard, be sure to watch that before continuing any further in this video. With that being said, let's get into this first episode of Star Trek Picard, entitled Remembrance, where we see Picard is officially retired from Starfleet. He is set approximately 20 years after the events of Star Trek Nemesis, which was the last theatrically released Star Trek The Next Generation movie, which came out, I believe, 2002. And a lot has happened in that 20-year span. The supernova that destroyed Romulus, that was referenced in the 2009 Star Trek reboot, happens also in this timeline, and this series will deal with the aftermath of that decision. In that time, a synthetic uprising happened in the aftermath of the evacuation and subsequent destruction of Romulus, where a bunch of artificial life forms somehow rebelled and destroyed the Utopia Planitia shipyards on Mars, and according to the episode, Mars is still on fire to this day. And amidst all of this remembrance, a young woman named Daj comes onto Picard's vineyard and says that she somehow knows him, and the truth eventually comes out that she is somehow an artificial life form herself, one that looks nearly indiscernible from an actual human being, but with some superhuman abilities, android abilities. And there's also a not yet fully explained connection with the late Lieutenant Commander Data, and it is strongly implied that she and her twin sister might somehow be the daughters of Data. And this series will be proceeding on from this point, where Picard will have to find the twin sister of this woman Daj, who perished near the end of this first episode. This episode, I thought, was a pretty good starting point for the series, in that it gave just the right amount of nostalgia for fans of The Next Generation. Even in the movies, I thought that was a really good callback in the very beginning, the opening dream sequence with the Nothing But Blue Skies, which is the how Star Trek Nemesis ends with B4 singing Nothing But Blue Skies. But it also does a good job of introducing us to what happened in that time frame without being too overwhelming in giving us all the details. It gives us just enough to understand where now retired Admiral Picard is coming from, and it sets the stakes of both Romulans, who are coming from a somewhat sympathetic plight of having become refugees after losing their planet. The Federation, now apparently with becoming an isolationist nation in the galaxy, and Picard disagreeing with that fundamentally. All the while, introducing the mystery of who was Daj, who is the twin sister. Are they in fact have the essence of Lieutenant Commander Data in them? And what is this Romulan sex plan doing? And that big reveal at the very end, what are they doing aboard a seemingly damaged and derelict Borg cube? All this is set up, I think, beautifully. It doesn't overwhelm you, I thought, and I'm definitely excited to see more about this. If I'm pronouncing her name right, Issa Briones, who plays Daj. She does a remarkable job in this episode, and I hope that she gives these she has the same quality in her performances as the season go on. Also near the end, Alison Pill, who plays Agnes Girardi, who is a scientist at the Daystrom Institute. She, in her brief time on screen, I felt a connection with her character, and how I like how she kind of plays off Picard, her down-to-earth realism about the situation. Bowie is a nice foil to Picard's optimism in his newfound lease on life, it seems. And I think they're going to be a good source of chemistry going forward as the season goes on. The only thing I really didn't necessarily think worked about this episode is, well, the cinematography, while gorgeous, it seems to be borrowing heavily on the same sort of cinematography film style as Star Trek Discovery, and I think that kind of cinematography works better on there. And I feel like this series had the chance to do something just a little bit different from that, and it doesn't necessarily do that. That was just my impression, but I thought that it's not bad. I wish it was a little bit more different, I think. It's tough to judge just on this first episode. We'll see how it evolves going through the rest of the season. Also, Lieutenant Commander Data, Brent Spiner, returns in a couple of dream sequences in this first episode. And while I think that the de-aging job that they do on him is decent enough, I recall the interviews that he gave after that, where after he left, why he wanted Data to die in Star Trek Nemesis, because he felt that he was become too old to play an ageless android. Something about his look just doesn't quite look right, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because the ratio of his eyes to his face somehow doesn't quite jive properly because of the de-aging CGI, or maybe he's not quite as in shape as he was in the late 80s, early 90s with Next Generation. Something about it just didn't quite look right, and I like that they brought him back. I thought he did a good job in the scenes that he was in, but I don't know, maybe we just could have just left him as like maybe just a voice or something, and maybe just like a picture on a desk or something. It might sound cheesy, but I don't know. Something about that just didn't quite look right to me. That's just my opinion, though. So overall, I think this episode was really good, and I look forward to seeing what the rest of the season will hold for us. These mysteries are intriguing me. Also, this should come as no surprise to anyone who has followed interviews as to leading up to this season's release. And it's really evident in this first episode that Star Trek Picard, according to Patrick Stewart, was somewhat inspired by his experience working on Logan. And that's definitely evident in this first episode in that Daj is basically a living weapon who seeks a father figure, a figure that she recognizes and who can help her, similar to how Logan becomes the mentor / father figure for X-23, and also that this since Daj is heavily implied to be the daughter of Data, and Picard feels a emotional attachment to this, almost like a surrogate daughter for him, very similar to how X-23 is essentially the daughter of Logan, and they have that father-daughter dynamic. So there's definitely some parallels to be drawn between Picard and Logan at this juncture. We'll see how far that develops as the series continues. But like I said, overall, great start to the season. I look forward to where it goes well. But what do you think? What did you think of the first episode of Star Trek Picard? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did I miss any possible connections? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune in every week for my reaction videos to each and every episode of Star Trek Picard. I'll be posting them as soon as I see the episodes and record these videos and upload them. Again, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. Again, you guys are the best, but just remember, there is nothing new under the sun, and yes, you have seen it before.